Hi everybody, I hope you are all well. It is Saturday morning again, instead of Sunday, 2 weeks in a row. I'm doing my videos on Saturday morning. Maybe this is going to become a regular thing. I don't know, but we'll just have to see how my reading pattern goes. I haven't got my glasses on today. I couldn't be bothered, so let's see how that affects my reading. Okay. But before I get started on my review of All the Bright Places, I am so super excited to say that it was announced on Thursday, and I did like the biggest gasp ever in my office and startled a few of my colleagues when I got my email, my alert, to say that J.K. Rowling's new Cormoran Strike book will be published on the 29th of September and is called Troubled Blood. It is 784 pages long, and I am so super excited. And you know what makes it even better? I always, as you know, take the 10 days of the Cheltenham Literature Festival off work. This book gets released on 29th of September. The Literature Festival starts 3 days later on the 2nd of October. So I am going to have so much time to really get into the world of this book and everything, and I'm going to be so excited, so excited. I'm probably going to book the day off from work when it gets released, because I do have my no buying books this year challenge, but I did give myself this as my one book leeway because it was still rumor at the time in January that it was going to be published. So I said I would buy this one book only throughout the year. And yeah, it's going to happen the 29th of September. So yes, okay, now I need to come down from that buzz of excitement telling you guys. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know, in case there was anybody who were fans of the Cormoran Strike books who hadn't heard the news. And oh god, the picture that JK actually took of her from her home of the stack of the printed copies, her own printed copy, and it was like this wad of paper. It was absolutely ridiculous. Oh gosh, that was so exciting. She did that I think about a week or two ago, and then Thursday the news hit that it's the 29th of September. You can pre-order and everything now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be literally there at Waterstones for 9 o'clock in the morning to buy my copy, just like last time. And I wonder, actually, last time one of her books was released, Lethal White, I actually had enough points on my Waterstones loyalship card in order to get it for free. So I think I'm pretty close at the moment on my loyalty card. I'll need to check that. But you never know. I might get this one for free as well. Well, we'll just have to see. But anyway, as I said, calming down now. Let's get to the point of this video. And this video, I'm here to review All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. This was the first of Jennifer's books that I've ever read, so I had no idea what to expect from her writing or anything. But I had bought this book, I don't know, couple 3 years ago maybe now, and I was like, oh, I think I got it in like an offer or something, buy one get one half price offer, and I liked the concept, and I thought, okay, why don't I give it a go? Basically, the concept is, it's a young adult fiction book, I should say, and the concept is that there is this girl called Violet and a boy called Finch, thus a Violet and a Finch, and they meet basically at the clock tower of the bell tower, of their school one day, and they're both there because they want to commit suicide. Violet has recently lost her sister Eleanor and is having real problems with processing her grief. And Finch, he has been having problems for quite some time. He has a whole range of stuff going on in his life. I'm not going to give loads of details because it's going to give away a load of spoilers and such. You kind of need to learn things about him and his family and his home life and everything when you read them, to be able to understand him as a person. So this is why I'm not going to tell you things. But these two meet, and Finch talks Violet down And in the process, they kind of developed this strange sort of connection by the two of them being there, and they kind of knew why they were there, but no one else really does. And it's about their relationship going forward, and how Finch, he's kind of on this mission, as it were, to save Violet, and ways in which Violet is kind of saving him in the process. And so it's about their story and what they go on to do. Now, straight off, I will say I was a bit concerned. And for a lot of the book, I was thinking, Jennifer, please don't do a cop-out ending. Please don't. Because with young adult fiction books, especially when it's a boy meets a girl, and it's all, you know, when you're 17 and you're confused about life and all this lot, is very much, you know, romance, da-da-da-da-da. And there is a romance story within this, but very much because of the concept of teen suicide, mental health, depression, abuse, and all of this kind of stuff that elements that are brought in here, I was just thinking, if she does a cop-out ending, I'd be really disappointed, because there are these times in your life, or people who you come across who you maybe desperately want to save, and you can't save them. And that is not your fault. That's okay. You tried. That's the main thing. So thus, that's the ending that I wanted. I didn't want it to be that by them having this relationship, they are entirely saved. So thus I was thinking, Jennifer, don't give me a cop-out ending. Please don't, because life is not like that. And I was really glad that I didn't get that cop-out ending. I was relieved, actually, if I'm honest, that I didn't get that cop-out ending. It told the truth about certain things. It was very blunt at times, and other times it felt very dreamlike. Just as characters have highs and lows about various situations that are going on, the writing had very highs and lows, in that in the highs it was very light and airy and dreamy, and the sentences were quite flowy and such, and then when it was the darker stuff, it was very short, sharp sentences and harsh uses of colours and such. So it was well structured and everything. It wasn't until I actually sat here reflecting on the book after I closed it that I actually started crying. I didn't, when I say I started crying, I wasn't like bawling my eyes out or anything. I was just like, you know, having a bit of a, you know, wipe away a few tears kind of moment. Because I think it really sunk in what Jennifer had done. She had written this book for people who, you know, from like the parents' perspective, who don't understand what's going on with teenagers, from the teenagers' perspective of, you know, talking about or not talking about emotions and mood swings and thoughts and feelings and such, being misunderstood, being put down, being held up, you know, all of these. So you had things from parents' perspective, from the teenagers' perspectives, from counsellors, from groups that are charities and such that are set up to help people, all of these different perspectives about the subject of mental health and teen suicide and stuff like that, you know, of from teenage perspective. It was really interesting to read. I really particularly liked Violet's ending, the use of elements as well in this book. I'm being very, very picky with my words because I don't want to give anything away, was beautiful. It's quite haunting. It did stay with me for a while after finishing it. And I really love the fact that at the back of the book, there are websites and phone numbers for across all different countries for charities to help with teen suicide and mental health and such. And Jennifer talks about why she wrote this book and why it's so important for us to talk about these things. And if this book, this young adult fiction book, helps somebody to realize that they need help, it's done its job. So I really want to applaud Jennifer for what she's done with this book. I enjoyed it. I think I would read it again. But I think, because I kept on thinking for a lot of the book, and I think probably up to like the final 100 pages, don't do a cop-out ending, don't do a cop-out ending, don't do a cop-out ending. Now that I wasn't able to necessarily absorbing it in the same way as I would if I didn't have those thoughts. But now that I know the ending, going back over it again, I may see certain things in a different light and such, and I won't have that constant thought of don't do a cop-out ending in my head. So I think I may read it again and see it in a different light. But for what it was, for the way that it was written, it's really lovely. I totally understand why, and I've been looking at reaction videos to the trailer because the film gets released on Netflix on the 28th of Feb, which is this coming Friday. And a load of people think that it's written by John Green. To be fair to them, the Netflix trailer never mentions Jennifer Niven's name, which is quite bad, or at least that's how I feel. But because of the way it's very Fault in Our Stars, which was written by John Green, so I can totally understand why people get the author wrong for that, for this book when watching the Netflix trailer. But yeah, it has that similar. I'm just comparing to Fault in Our Stars, because again with Fault in Our Stars, I didn't have the constant don't do a cop-out ending thought in my head, but I was just like, okay, yeah, this is a good book. And I felt the same way with, All the Bright Places. I didn't entirely get immersed in it, but I did enjoy it. So I think perhaps a reread is a good idea for me. I'm not putting it down or anything like that by saying I couldn't immerse myself in it. It was just, as I said, I had this voice constantly going, don't do a cop-out ending, because I was kind of fearful in a sense of what she would do with this ending. And now that I don't have that voice looking at it, this second time round I may immerse myself more. But the characters were very believable. I really love Finch. I really, really love Finch. I think he's a great character. I didn't like Violet as much as Finch, but they are very different characters. But I loved also secondary characters, like the siblings and such. I thought they were really great. The setting is really interesting. It's just a little place in America, and just you could see it happening in any possible location, any possible town in the US. So thus it kind of, in a way, it feels a bit like Paper Towns, also written by John Green. It flows beautifully. It's well written, well constructed, and I did enjoy it. So I better get around to a reading, because I'm like 14 minutes into this and I still haven't done a reading. But to give you an idea of like tone and such, this is Violet and Finch, and they're beginning their friendship, as it were, after the whole being on the bell tower thing happened, and they've been paired up in geography class to do a project about the local area. And this is Violet being taken to a place by Finch. I forgot to say, all the chapters are written in first person perspective, but it flips back and forth between Violet and Finch. So this is Violet's chapter. So here we go. He misses a turn-off, goes right over the grassy centre and the other side and climbs back onto the interstate, heading in the opposite direction. At some point, we exit onto a quiet country road. We take this for a mile or so, and Finch has turned up the music and is singing along. He drums the beat on the steering wheel, and when we turn into the little town, this is just a couple blocks long. Finch hunches over the dash and slows down to a crawl. Do you see any street signs? That one says church. Good, brilliant. He turns, and just a block later pulls over to the curb and parks. We're here. He's out the car and at my door, opening it, offering his hand. We're walking toward this big old factory building that looks abandoned, and I can see something along the wall, stretching for the entire length of it. Finch keeps going and comes to a sudden stop at the far end. Before I die, it says on what looks like a giant chalkboard, and there below these giant white letters are column after column, line after line that says, before I die, I want to blank. And the blanks have been filled in with different colours of chalk, smudged and half melted from rain and snow in all different handwriting. We walk along reading, before I die, I want to have kids, live in London, own a pet giraffe, skydive, divide by zero, play the piano, speak French, write a book, travel to a different planet, be a better dad than mine was, feel good about myself, go to New York City, know equality, live. Finch bumps my arm and hands me a piece of blue chalk. I say, there's no space left. So make some. He writes, before I die, I want to, and draws a line. He writes it again. Then he writes in a dozen more times. After we fill these up, we can keep going on the front of the building and down the other side. It's a good way to figure out just why we're here. And I know by here, he doesn't mean this sidewalk. He starts writing. Play the guitar like Jimmy Page. Come up with a song that will change the world. Find the great manifesto. Count for something. Be the person that I'm meant to be and have that be enough. Know what it's like to have a best friend. Matter. For a long time, I just stand there reading. And then I write, stop being afraid. Stop thinking too much. Fill the holes that were left behind. Drive again. Write. Breathe. So as you can see, it has quite dark elements to it because of the subject matter, but then at the same time it allows you to see from teenage perspectives of certain things in life and everything, and it is quite a fresh perspective. It's really an interesting take on the subject. It's probably one of these subjects that perhaps when she pitched it, the publishers were like, oh, okay, we're going to have to be possibly careful with this. Because you can understand with teen suicide being the key centre as to why these two people meet and how their story progresses. But it's an important subject, so it needs to be written. Somebody has to take the step. And I think Jennifer did absolutely fantastically with this step. And as I said, it's got hotlines and websites and all sorts of charity resources for countries all around the world in the back of this book. So she's, trying to help people. And if this book helps even one person, she's done fantastically. So Jennifer, fantastic work writing this book. Would I read it again? Yes, I probably would. But it would be interesting reading it again without that don't have a cop-out ending thought in my head constantly flying. Would I recommend it to other people? Yes, I would. I would let them know that it is very like Fault in Our Stars for the way kind of style as a way of it being written, and that. So depending on how they felt about Fault in Our Stars, I suppose would depend on if they would read it. But I would recommend it to other people. Would I read any more of her work? Yes, and actually the next book I'm going to be reading, which is somewhere... oh no, there it is. I knew I put it down somewhere, but I couldn't remember. Holding Up the Universe is actually the next book I'm going to be reading. I've already announced it, of course. It's written by Jennifer. So, so I would read more of Jennifer's work. So yes, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I had a very strong post-read reaction to it, and it lingered, and so it has done its job. So congratulations, Jennifer, for writing a really good book. I will put the link to the Netflix trailer in the description of this video as well. It's due out next week, so obviously I haven't watched it yet to review it, but from watching the trailer, it looks like it's pretty faithful to the book. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see it and how they play out the various events. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on All the Bright Places. If you read this book, I'd love to know what you think. Leave a comment in the comments box below, or give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Entirely up to you, I'll let you decide. And I'll be back with my thoughts on Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven as soon as I am done. All right, guys. Bye.